Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Rain. Can't believe we're doing this. Yeah, we weren't really actually supposed to make this video.
So if you guys have watched our 5K Q&A video, linked up in the card if you haven't, but in that video, Eden mentioned that one of her dream roles is Jemima Puddle-Duck from the Beatrix Potter Ballet by Frederick Ashton. We put a little side note saying that if you guys wanted a commentary on that particular piece, to drop a duck emoji in the comments.
Yeah, and Jemima Puddle-Duck is genuinely one of my dream roles.
Yeah.
That's definitely true, but like, we put the notice in there kind of as a joke. Kind of like, oh, haha, you know, if you want to see a commentary on it, just drop a duck emoji, whatever. And let me tell you, y'all were really serious about this puddle duck thing. I was like shocked, but pleasantly surprised. Nice to know that y'all love puddle ducks as much as I do.
The amount of little green duck heads that I was scrolling past was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So that's why we're here. It just feels like the best thing to do to handle the situation and the amount of ducks that we found in our comment section. So
also, I was privately looking for an excuse to do a puddle duck commentary because I really wanted to do it. So thank you guys.
If you guys are excited about that, then tap the like button and we will fly into the video.
Ducks do fly, actually. They can fly and swim and walk.
They're the ultimate animal.
See, now this is why it's my dream role. Versatility, aesthetics,
and just overall cuteness.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just get into it right now.
So if y'all were wondering about the Beatrix Potter Ballet, because I know not everyone's familiar with it, it's a pretty obscure ballet. It was originally a film based on all the children's books written by Beatrix Potter, obviously. So all those characters in there are sort of part of this film.
So the whole ballet was choreographed by Frederick Ashton in the original film, but it was adapted for the stage by Anthony Dowell. And the music, the excellent music, is by the wonderful John Longberry, who also did the music for The Two Pigeons and Lily Malgarde as well. I feel like he and Ashton really worked together a lot.
Yeah,
in
I think
lot
so
of the
too.
ballets. Together, I feel like all the ballets have a very lighthearted sort of charm, and yeah, it is a really sweet sounding score.
What I think is cute about the Beatrix Potter score is that they use a lot of actual ballet rep pieces, but it's really cute because it's arranged slightly differently. It has a different feel to it, but it's still, you know, the classic ballet music. So I think that's part of the charm. The whole ballet has a very distinct vibe. It's a very whimsical Beatrix Potter vibe. If any of y'all have read the books or seen the illustrations,
it matches.
It's beautifully translated into the stage. We are going to show you a little clip of Jemima Puddle-Duck. I believe this is her entrance and her opening variation. The dancer performing the variation is...
It's not listed.
Yeah, it's not named. So the only logical explanation for that is clearly Jemima Puddle-Duck herself is performing this variation. We're very excited. Let's get into it. I hope you enjoy.
And here she comes. That entrance is just the best. You can just stop there and talk all day about that. The fact that you can even hear the flop of her coming on.
It's called making a statement. No, it's adorable. And also, can we just take a moment to appreciate the whole costume? Like the bonnet, the little scarf thing, even just the feathers. The feathers.
It looked like Jemima Puddle-Duck.
Specifically.
Exactly like in the book.
Yeah, if you look at the book versus the actual thing, it literally looks like they just took her right out of the book.
Put her on the stage.
I can't get over it. Okay. Appreciating the full-out duck walk there, because if you've seen a duck in real life walking, they do this head thing a lot.
Yes, they do this.
It's very, very cute.
Yes.
And I love that. The thing with Ashton, the best thing, is that his choreography is stylized so perfectly to mimic the mannerisms of,
a real
in this
animal.
case, a duck. It's so intelligent, perfectly encapsulating the animal, but also in a very cute, balletic way.
And can I just say, it is really, really difficult to dance in, you know, a full mask and a fat suit. It is very, very hard. I know any of the men who've been the Nutcracker Prince and the Nutcracker can tell you, it's very, very hard. It's stuffy, you can barely breathe.
You can barely see.
Your senses are numbed in there. But the resulting effect is so impressive. And the thing with wearing a fat suit as well is that everything has to be exaggerated. As you're using any kind of arm movements, any head movements, you have to overdo it so it actually translates through the the whole costuming. Otherwise, it just doesn't read.
Less is more for everything else in ballet.
Yeah.
But when you're in a big costume like this, more is more. Even this little...
I love how thoughtful his choreography is. And it really shows that he took some time to sit by the pond and just observe the birds on the water. And then he was able to take those ideas and take those real life inspiration and put it into these characters.
I believe in this part of the story, she's trying to let her eggs hatch, so she's trying to see if they're like hatched yet.
And she goes, nope, not yet.
Yeah, if you've read the book, it's basically all about her trying to hatch her eggs. She gets an unfortunate run-in with a fox, and then he tries to eat her. She gets some help from like the border collie on the farm or whatever, and then eventually she's able to hatch her eggs. So that's sort of general gist of the story.
Right.
But basically, this is what she's doing here. She's like, any day now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let me keep dancing.
Exactly, because that's clearly what you would do. She's so cute. You can see there's a
little stove cooking pot.
Yeah, cooking pot. The little squeals because she burned herself. So now
her little tail feathers are smoking.
Yeah, so she's a bit sad. And it repeats in the minor key.
For all of our non-musicians, major refers to like a happy sounding song.
Yeah.
And then minor would be the sad, like sort of like the inverse of that. So like the sad version.
Like the same
same melody.
It's just with slight changes to make it sound sad now. It's just really funny.
Because
it's
she
really,
burned her
really
tail.
funny.
And her eggs haven't hatched. What a horrible day. Let's keep going.
Musician friends.
How would you make the sound effect like that?
How would the sound effect happen? Would it just be a recording, like a sound effect recording?
Is it like an actual orchestral instrument? I'd be curious to know. But I do remember sometimes backstage with certain sound effects and stuff, you would still have, you know, the orchestra in the pit playing the regular music, but then sometimes you have someone in the wings with a recording of like the certain sound effect and they play it on the top of the music through the speakers. And for like other things, like sometimes in Nutcracker we have a cannon, they'll just drop a huge book in the middle of the wing. It's like and that's like your cannon noise.
Yeah, or if you're like supposed to slap someone on stage, you like
you just clap really loud in the wing and it makes it sound like person on stage just got slapped. But hopefully you just went like this.
Hopefully. Don't actually slap your mouth.
And to communicate different emotions through a fat suit and a mask is also very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So the music is one thing, but you also don't want to make it look like it's the same thing. It's really difficult to find that sort of distinction in between different emotions.
Yeah, because with the mask on, your expression won't change. The mask stays the same.
Exactly.
So you can't rely on facial expressions, you have to rely on body language and like the quality of movement and the way you would do the step.
Right, which is already very difficult because you have a fat suit on. So you have to exaggerate everything, but sometimes exaggerated shows excitement or, you know, a lot of happy energy.
Yeah.
So you have to be exaggerated without communicating happy, excited energy.
Yeah.
So that's very, very difficult to balance.
And the fox comes through the forest and he sees Jemima waddling about doing her thing. Again, typical duck walk. Very adorable.
Yes.
And he goes over and he said, "You look delicious." And so he's gonna try and eat her.
Yeah, he's scheming to catch her now.
Yeah.
But Jemima, of course, is completely oblivious and is just going to continue innocently waddling along.
Yeah.
And now she's actually going to start her variations.
Yes.
So
in the book, it only refers to the fox as the very fine gentleman.
y'all know, don't ever trust very fine gentlemen. Don't. Just don't.
Just don't do it. This is really funny. You know why? Because this music is
Dulcinea.
yeah, it's Dulcinea from Don Quixote.
Quixote.
if you know the variation.
It's a very queenly variation,
Yeah.
and it's very soft and sweet and very delicate. But now
This one's just kind of quirky and cute, and
the juxtaposition, I guess, is what makes it so funny.
Jemima is clearly the epitome of
Grace and
beauty
poise.
And that wiggle that she does there. You know, we did a video on our top 10 hardest ballet steps, and the wiggle really should be maybe not quite up there with Gamzati's Un des Dames Fouettes, but you know, like, pretty high up there. It really takes a true professional to be able to execute it so perfectly. I don't think I've ever seen a more exquisite wiggle.
This is my favorite step of the whole thing. See the like very precise timing of whenever she drops a feather.
Yeah, on the half between the and the yeah, exactly.
Very important detail
Yeah.
that a lot of people miss. But if you happen to miss it, then I guess you're just not an expert ballet commentator. I'm sorry. Just joking.
What I think is really funny is because the flapping is like somewhat reminiscent of Odette, but instead of Swan Lake, it's like Duck Pond. Even that.
This
That's
part,
like Four Little Swans.
I it's just like the Four Little Swans.
Yeah, like Entrecote Échappée. If you, well,
So
maybe we'll
funny.
put a clip up here, but
Yeah.
like they do that, and it's like the Four Little Swans. This over here is Puddle-Duck. She's trying very hard to be a swan.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
This is very Swan Lakey.
Yeah, the little.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odette, usually her head is over this way because she's shy, but this
Yeah.
one's like the duck, so she's like.
Boom.
Musicality is really everything, but especially so when you're playing a character like this that has a
Yes.
lot of quirks and a lot of personality. Musicality
Yeah.
is a
Really pay attention.
big deal because it really makes or breaks the performance. Like you could be the most beautiful dancer, but if you're off the music,
Or if you didn't capitalize on the music.
That's true.
You might be on the music, but if you really want to take it to the next level, really capitalize on those little things in the music. And the thing with dancing to music and capitalizing like on those teeny weeny undertones in the music, generally a lot of the audience probably won't notice it unless you as the dancer emphasize it by doing something on those specific counts. So the little pizzicato might be whatever to the audience, but since she does bum bum, then it really draws their attention to that little element in the music that they probably would not have heard before if you hadn't done that. There is a famous quote that says something along the lines of dance is music made visible. So that's kind of the general idea of what you want to do as a dancer. Work with the music.
yeah.
And it's kind of like a full experience for the audience if you can do that.
And
That's it.
that's all we have because the clip cuts out there.
So that was Jemima Puddle-Duck.
I hope you can understand now why this is one of my favorite roles.
Dream roles. Comment below if you think Eden would be a masterful Jemima Puddle-Duck.
Hopefully we can share with you a little bit about all the variables that come into play when you're performing a role like this, and that it's not really as easy as it seems, but at the same time,
How much joy it brings.
yeah, how much joy and the sort of the magic and the whimsy that they can bring into this character. It's really not an easy task. So Applause to Jemima.
If you like this video and you found it helpful, share it with a friend who loves the Beatrix Potter books.
Make sure you go like the
one person said we should say frappe the subscribe button and batu the like button.
So, frappe the like button
and batu the subscribe button.
And that is all from us for now. This is Ballerina signing off. Until the next video.
Bye!